Now, I'm joined in studio now by Claire Birch, who is Managing Director of Castle Island-based global teacher recruitment company, Direct Teacher Recruitment Specialist. You're very welcome to studio.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So, look, you're based in Castle Island. You're recruiting teachers from all over the world.
Yeah.
How did you come to being based in Castle Island?
Look, I decided to move back to Kerry. I thought it would be a good move, but I had no idea how much of a good move it would be. My family's from Kerry, so that probably was a driving force. But since we've come down, it's just been absolutely amazing. People have questioned it because a lot of the big companies will be in Dublin and the main hubs. But I suppose the first thing to mention when you move to somewhere like Kerry is the costs. For business perspective, the costs are so low. It's a fraction of what they would be in Dublin. But aside from that obvious factor, the amazing pool of talent that we got to draw from when we had to hire for our company was unbelievable. There's so many talented and experienced and fabulous people suited to my sector who are in Kerry, who are perhaps looking for an opportunity in recruitment and looking for an international opportunity. So when we advertised our jobs, we were absolutely inundated with quality applicants. Other things would be like the LEO. We had so much support from the local enterprise when we got here. Like we had Tomas Hayes and Ruth Cosgrave, who gave us so much support in terms of mentoring and training. And I think maybe that would have been slightly easier to access in a smaller place like Kerry. And then things like, we've got the airport on our doorstep. We've got fabulous universities that we can tap into for our teachers. The IT in Tralee and UL, UCC. We're going up to NUI Galway for the teaching fair next week. And of course, the obvious thing is the beautiful county that Kerry is. And we will be delighted to bring clients from overseas here for interviews and to showcase our Irish teachers from such a beautiful base. So for me, it is a no-brainer being in Kerry. It is absolutely no-brainer. It's been fantastic.
And it must be a big difference too for quality of life, compared to working and living in Dublin.
Oh, so much, because I have a family with kids and everything is so easy. Life is easy in Kerry. Everything's on your doorstep. And as well to mention, if you need things for your business like IT support, we're in Castle Island, so we've got a really amazing IT support company down the road, Castle Island Computers, and if you need support, they're with you in 10 minutes. If you're in a bigger hub like Dublin or even Cork, you're waiting hours, maybe days, and again the expense of it and the inconvenience of it, so everything is at your fingertips. Where our office is, our kids' school is down the road, everything is there, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
And where are you operating from within Castle Island?
We're operating from the Island Centre, which everybody from Castle Island probably knows. So it's the Island Centre on the right, and we are just 2 doors down. So it is literally in the hub in Castle Island, and everything is there. So we love it, love it.
Okay, and any plans to expand?
Yeah, absolutely. So we must take on 2 more people this year. So anybody listening who wants to work in an international company, who has recruitment experience or comes from a teaching background, or who would like to fall into that type of job, please get in touch. Because one of the things that we enjoy the most is finding local talent, bringing them in, training them up and giving them opportunities, including overseas travel, working with schools overseas, speaking to people overseas. So I just think it's an exciting business and it's an exciting sector. So we're really keen to bring more people on board.
And I suppose, how did you get into or setting up the business?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I come from a teaching background. So I trained as a teacher in England, worked there for a few years, and then after that I returned to Ireland for a few years and worked for a UK teacher recruitment company, which was fantastic. I gained so much experience and so much interest in recruitment. So I had kind of the education background, then I got the recruitment experience. Then in 2014 I thought, you know what, I have the experience, I have the passion, and I have the drive to start my own company, and it went from there. So now I have Direct, and I love it. And we do, I suppose when I worked for the UK company, we did mainly recruitment for the UK with a little bit of international recruitment, but with Direct we recruit solely for overseas. So we do schools all over Europe, Middle East, Asia, South and Central America, Africa, New Zealand, all over Asia, and we're about to move into Canada and the US. So that for me is so exciting because I'm passionate about travel and culture. So to be able to deal with all of those locations, learn about them, pore over the map, look at the languages and the culture and the currency, it's so interesting. It's so good.
So do you get to visit all these places then?
Well, I do as much as possible. So I was in South Africa last year. I was in UAE, back to UAE in March. We're going to China and Singapore in July, and we'll be back to UAE because it's Dubai Expo 2020 this year. So we will get a chance to get around, and even more if I can. Obviously, I should only go when it's for business purposes, but I literally sit and plan my next trip and hope I can bring in work as well. But no, seriously, it's great because I'll bring my colleagues with me. So sometimes it's countries they haven't been to as well. So it's not just for work purposes. It's really, I enjoy and get fulfilled with showing my employees the world and allowing them to experience overseas, not just sit in an office, think about what it's like to work in Dubai, imagine China. Let's recruit for those countries and then bring teachers there, but go there ourselves and bring back our feedback and our experience. So it's great.
I suppose you can really sell it then when you've been there.
Oh, totally. It makes such a difference. I can't tell you. I had a chance to visit Southeast Asia in 2018 for work, travelling around, visiting schools, visiting locations, and to be able to come back, get on the phone to a teacher and explain the difference between Thailand and Vietnam, Malaysia and Singapore, because you might lump Southeast Asia in the same, for example, Southeast Asia in the same boat had you not visited those, but they're so different. And to be able to tell teachers, this is what it's like, this is expensive, this is not expensive, and explain the differences, it is invaluable for my business.
And do you recruit then, say, teachers for all different levels of education, or?
Yeah, so we recruit across the early years, primary and secondary sectors, and we also recruit lecturers as well. So in theory, we can recruit anybody across the entire education sector. Probably our busiest would be early years, primary and secondary, and we do a small portion of lecturing, but that is something we're moving into more because of the demand overseas.
Okay, and how long are you actually operating out of Castle Island then?
Operating out of Castle Island a year and a half, before that Dublin.
Okay.
Yeah, so by far Kerry has been the best, I think, of that. So literally, seriously, it has been amazing being here.
And you mentioned obviously you're so near Kerry Airport when you're in Castle Island as well.
Brilliant.
It must be great for all the travel you have to do.
Yeah, Kerry Airport is a godsend. It is down the road. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. We don't realise how lucky we are to have that facility here, So rather than having to head all the way to Cork or Shannon or even up to Dublin, it's brilliant. So even if you can't fly direct, you can get a connecting flight from Farn Force. So it's invaluable to businesses here.
Mm-hmm. And I know you say you visit a lot of the places, I suppose, to check them out and see what they're like and be able to advise the teachers. But I suppose you can do a lot of your work too on the phone, via Skype, using the internet. And I know that can be done anywhere in the world.
Yes,
but as you say, you can do it here in Kerry, a great location.
Exactly. So we're so lucky. I mean, in theory, I could work on my lap in Thailand if I wanted to, and I did work in 2018. I got to visit and I did work the whole time when I was there. But yeah, you can work everywhere and you can do everything online. We do a lot of our work via Skype and online. So to get to travel is fantastic. But if I could never travel, I could do everything literally from a computer. But we do travel as much as we can.
But it's great when you can get away to all these exotic places.
It's brilliant. Yeah. You got to get there. Yeah.
And you're holding an international teacher fair in Dublin next month. Will you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So it's our international teacher fair. It's been held in Dublin. I was going to hold it in Kerry, but I figured it was easier for everybody from Ireland to get to Dublin. Initially it was going to be in Killarney, but we did think for logistical purposes we'll have it in Dublin. So we will welcome around 20 schools from all over Asia, the Middle East and mainland Europe to Dublin, and they will be interviewing and hiring for their August 2020 vacancies. We will have roughly 250 teachers from Ireland and the UK. The biggest portion, probably 75%, will be from Ireland, and the other 25% will travel over from England. So the teachers come, it's free entrance to them. They come and they can all the schools will have stands set up, and they can see as many of those stands, visit the schools at their stands during the day. They can interview with the schools as well. Schools can contact them prior to the event and invite them for interview. There will be presentations running all day long from the schools, so teachers can sit in a seminar room and listen to a presentation about Myanmar, about Abu Dhabi, about Lithuania, and that will help to form their decisions and to get them interested in certain locations. So it's a one-day event, free for teachers, and it really is, I suppose, the biggest advantage for teachers is you get to come and meet international schools on the ground, shake their hands and meet with them in person. If you don't do that at these events, you have to interview via Skype, which is absolutely fine. But the gold standard in interviewing is to actually meet and the person face to face, shake hands and do it like that. So it kind of means that they can do that here in Ireland rather than just relying on the Skype interview. So it's going to be super exciting. But for us as well, we're bringing all these schools over from all over the world, and we're very proud to showcase our Irish teachers, and we're also proud of Ireland. So they're just coming for the fair, but that night we bring them into Dublin, the principals and the HR people from the schools, for a night of food and Irish dancing in Dublin city centre. So we don't want it just to be about work. We want to say, come to Ireland, come to our event, but let us show you the Irish music and culture, Irish food, Guinness. Not saying they'll necessarily drink, but if they want to, we will facilitate that. So we really want them to have a good work event, but also a good networking and social event as well. So it will be absolutely fabulous. We can't wait.
And you've held this kind of event before?
Yes, absolutely, yeah, in Dublin. So it was the same format, slightly smaller last time. The company has grown, so we'll have more schools and more teachers. But the last one was fantastic, and the schools loved it and the teachers loved it. So it works very well. And it's the only event of its kind in Ireland. So there's no other dedicated teacher recruitment fair. So we're proud to be the only ones doing that. So it's exciting.
And when and where is it on?
It's on in the Carlton Hotel, Dublin Airport, on the 8th of February 2020 from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yep.
So Carlton Dublin Airport on the 8th of February, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes.
And just with regards to the teachers who are heading off, I know we see lots of young people heading off the whole time. Mm-hmm. Would the majority of them be looking to, find a new experience and explore the world, or do you get many of them that want to just go make a lot of money and then come back and maybe, have money for a deposit for a house?
There's a mix. So you get the ones that have the adventure bug, and they'll go to countries where money is not the number one motivator. They'll go somewhere where you'll have a fabulous lifestyle on a local salary. You're not going to bring home much savings, but you're going to have a really enriching experience. Then you'll have other people who want to go and make money, and they'll go to maybe some of the tax-free regions like the Middle East, and they will save and bring back their money maybe to buy a house when they come back or something like that. And then you have the third portion who would really be going to further their careers. Maybe they've taught in Ireland or the UK for a few years and they want to go and teach in a international baccalaureate private school in Dubai or in Thailand or in Singapore, and it's purely for career purposes. And I have to say that, even though these teachers are leaving Ireland, they are bringing back fantastic practice and fantastic ideas when they come back into Ireland. So I don't think we're losing them to overseas schools, because the vast majority of them come back, and they come back as such experienced teachers, bringing back their fresh ideas and their experiences and enriching their Irish schools when they come back, and they've experienced different cultures. So I think it's one of the three. It's money, it's having a great experience, or it's for career progression.
And is the demand increasing every year from the number of teachers who want to go abroad?
It is. And I mean, the job situation here in Ireland for teachers has changed. There is now a demand for teachers here, whereas for many years there was a real shortage of teaching jobs, which is one of the reasons that I, kind of fell into teacher recruitment at that time. So there is a demand for teachers here, but there still is that drive for teachers to go away. They're in one of these professions which is really a passport to see the world. They have a job, they're trained to do something where they can, in theory, go anywhere in the world and do paid work, and at the same time, in their time off, see that region and explore new things. So regardless of the job situation here, I think teachers are always wanting to go away when they're young and come back. So I think it's a really good thing that there are more jobs for teachers here in Ireland, but I think there'll always be a portion of teachers that want to go and explore the world, and I'm delighted to enable them to do that and to facilitate that, because I love travel myself. So yeah, there's always going to be demand.
Okay, well, that's always good news for you. So anyway,
I suppose, yeah.
You're in your area. Look, Claire, we're going to have to leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining me in studio.
Thank you too.
Claire Birch, Managing Director of Direct Teacher Recruitment Specialist in Castleisland. Continued success with the business. Great news to hear you're recruiting 2 more people this year.
Thank you.
And the best of luck with the International Teacher Fair next month in
Thank
Dublin.
you, Mary. Thanks a million.
No problem.
In Business on Radio Kerry.
Brought to you in association with your local credit union. We're local, we're loyal, and we're lending.